With a team of journalists across the country, we're exploring help for students and families set back most by COVID-19. It led us to the story of a Texas doctor and a group of philanthropists with a new way to test for COVID-19. It completely changes how we fight the spread of the virus. Lainey Valian found that idea has helped thousands of kids around the San Antonio area return to school and help their communities regain a sense of normalcy.
It's Monday morning at Somerset High School. It's a high school that looks a lot like many other Texas public schools.
Senior? Yes.
There are about 1,000 students, kids in letter jackets, gym clothes, morning announcements, typical.
Teachers, at this time, please allow seniors to be screened at the gym.
But there's something else going on at this school that's not typical at all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
Students at Somerset are some of the first in the nation to be tested every single week for COVID-19.
Okay, you're going to swap balloon nostrils for 5 seconds each.
It's a proactive approach called assurance testing, a new way of testing that's proving to be an effective tool in slowing the spread of the virus in communities, sometimes before it even starts. The testing process is simple. A quick, shallow nasal swab results in less than 24 hours. But creating this test, this game-changing process, that's a longer story. And it starts here, with an idea hatched by 3 San Antonio philanthropists and this person, Dr. Rachel Bedard, a pathologist who had the know-how, the team, and the will to pull it all off.
We are testing people that do not have any symptoms, don't suspect that they have COVID, and we're testing them on a fairly regular basis, like every week or two. And we test them on a repeated fashion so that we can kind of pick them up really early.
Thank you.
The keys for this to work? Frequent testing plus a non-invasive, highly sensitive testing tool. High lab turnaround and affordability. Dr. Bedard says they trim the cost of their tests from over $100 to $35 by piecing together the most effective and affordable supplies from multiple vendors, creating their own testing kits. The end result? A test that is cheaper and more accurate.
So some PCR tests only look for 1 region, some look for 2, and we look for 3.
Using funding from grants and donations, community labs can run up to 12,000 tests a day for people in what Bedard calls micropopulations. These are groups like coworkers in an office space or students and staff in schools like Somerset who commit to frequent, regular testing to identify any silent spreaders.
Probably 50% of the spread comes from the silent spreaders. So these are people that have no idea that they have the virus. They're not taking any extra precautions. They're not isolating themselves. They're going about their regular business.
A micropopulation might look like this. 3 groups: people who don't have COVID-19, they're in green; people who are showing symptoms, so they self-isolate on their own, they're in red; and then the silent spreaders, people who are positive and don't know it. That's who you see in yellow. In a traditional testing scenario, these people would never be tested, so they continue to go to work or school and spread the virus. But in an assurance testing scenario, everyone is tested regularly, whether or not they're showing symptoms. So look what happens. The asymptomatic silent spreaders are identified quickly and can self-isolate and prevent the spread of the virus from even starting. The result is what Community Labs calls COVID safety zones, places like Somerset High School, where Terry White teaches history.
And as you can see, it goes really quick.
White's wife has an autoimmune disease, and for his family, the risks of COVID-19 are a constant worry. But assurance testing has helped alleviate some of that anxiety.
It's huge. I mean, really until we started doing this, for about the first month of school, it was a daily scare.
White's son Logan is a freshman at Somerset High School.
I've been a lot happier since I got to school.
Before assurance testing came to Somerset, the risk of being at school in person just felt too high, so he had to learn virtually. But now he's returned to campus.
Just knowing that he's safe was just, I can't even begin to describe the relief that was for both.
I want to put people at ease.
Somerset High School is one of a growing number of school districts around San Antonio testing their students through community labs. Bruce Bugg is chairman of the Tobin Endowment, one of the lab's supporters, and is on Governor Greg Abbott's strike force to open Texas. He says the entire project is open architecture, with the hope that other governments and organizations will expand on what they've learned.
Our goal is to basically give our laboratory to the state of Texas and let them take it on and continue to build it.
Dr. Bedard says supply shortages and the amount of staff it takes to process each sample are ever-present challenges. But she hopes as they make the process even more efficient, other communities will benefit from what she and her team have learned.
We know we can't do this for every city in the United States, but we can certainly provide the knowledge, the know-how, all of the little tips of what we figured out along the way to make it happen.
Dr. Bedard says providing affordable, accessible assurance testing is more than just helping people return to school or a sense of normalcy. It's life-saving and life-changing work.
I feel like if I were to die tomorrow, God forbid, I would feel like this was one of the things that I contributed to our world that made it a better place.
In San Antonio, I'm Lainey Valiant.
Online now, Pandemic Pass or Fail Solutions for Education Equity, the digital investigative report. Check out our latest work, interactive data features, and a behind-the-scenes video about why we're tackling the topic. Explore stories from our team of journalists across the nation by location or by topic. Plus, resources about the solutions we're discovering and ways you can join the conversation. It's all online now. Just search for Pandemic Pass or Fail on this station's homepage. Thanks again for joining us for State of Texas. I'm John Engel. We'll be back next week to bring you an in-depth look at Texas politics.